Welcome back to another episode of Commerce Corner, the podcast by Lula Commerce. In this season, we're discussing technology roadmaps and how leading convenience brands are planning for and executing digital transformations like online ordering, loyalty programs, and AI projects. We have a really exciting conversation lined up for you today with Tiffany Fraley. Tiffany is the CEO of InConvenience Inc., home of the Gas Spot and the Good Spot brands in the Midwest. Welcome to the podcast, Tiffany. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And of course, a warm welcome to the co-host of today's podcast, Adit Gupta, co-founder and CEO of Lula Commerce. Welcome, Adit, and the floor is yours to kick us off, sir.
I'm so excited about this. Tiffany, I so much in love with the brand you've created. And for the benefit of the audience, I'd love for you to share your origin story. How did you get started? You come from outside of the convenience store industry and you found an incredible opportunity in the industry. And I want to learn how it happened. So,
Sure. So yeah, about as far outside of the industry as one can get other than being a customer of gas stations and convenience stores. But I'm from a very small town, Winchester, Tennessee. Grew up there, went to college, was the first of my immediate family to go to college and get a degree and then an advanced degree. So I went to Austin P undergrad in Clarksville, where I got a business and economics minor. And then I went to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, where I got an MBA. And in between undergrad and graduate school, I worked at the Dollar General Corporation in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, in their real estate department, where I was negotiating lease renewals, reviewing stores for relocation, sometimes closings, things like that. And I met my boss now, or he's now my partner, but boss at the time, who had owned some Dollar Generals and asked me would I like to come and work for him and become a broker. And at the time, I was 25 years old, couldn't really pass up a chance to move to Chicago, which was a city bigger than I had ever been to in my life. And I thought if I hated it, I would just move back home. And that's been over 20 years ago. So one, I love the city of Chicago. It's great. If you've never been, please visit. And then from there, initially started out, as a commercial real estate broker. We were brokering Dollar Generals. We were the largest broker of Dollar Generals at the time. And then 2007, 2008 hit. The market took a hit. We started doing a lot of property management and being a resource to our investors and our other owners of taking care of their properties. So I got a really extensive background in just facilities management, leases, things like that. And then coming out of that, we started building up partnerships with buying, again, these net lease type assets like Dollar Generals, Walgreens, Family Dollars, AutoZones. And did that for a couple of years. And then things started shifting on the interest rate versus cap rate side. And so looking for opportunities of where can we best give our investors, one, an investment that they will get a return on into some tax advantage type properties, led us into the motor fuel gas station space. And we started a fund, bought 10 initial properties that were operated by a group called Squirrel, SQRL. And then later on added 15 to that same fund from a group called Mountain Express. And it wasn't too long after we closed on the 15 properties operated by Mountain Express that they filed for bankruptcy. So started our journey into gas station and the convenience store industry, which was, again, not anything that we initially thought that we were going to become involved in as far as from an operator standpoint. So we hired a management company, third-party management company, to basically keep the stores going for the 15 that were now not going to be open anymore. And as we started vetting other operators, we're kind of getting the sense that if we didn't take our own destiny into our hands, that we would probably end up in a very similar situation. And during the time that Mountain Express had declared bankruptcy, Squirrel had stopped paying rent. So that writing was on the wall for that second tenant. And so January of 2024, I went and worked in a gas station around the south side of Chicago because I had never worked in a station, and being kind of told that we needed to figure out what we were going to do, and really thinking about and getting serious about the idea of starting an OpCo. I needed to know what goes on inside those four walls. And that was probably one of the most humbling and eye-opening experiences I've ever had from that kind of standpoint of I really didn't know anything about anything and didn't really give credit to the people that run the stores, work the stores, think about all the different businesses that are within one C store. And then after that, came up with the gas spot and the good spot, and just really leaned into the fact that at the time, I had two other women with me who I knew wanted to take on this journey, and just started leaning into our G Spot brand philosophy. And we formed InConvenience Inc. in February of 2024. So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and just continue learning every day, continue being amazed at what goes on. And now that we know slightly more than we did 2 years ago, just trying to become legitimate in the space and, really, really become a force. And we want to be recognized by our brand, by our effort, by being a good partner. And yeah, that's my origin story up until now.
That's so inspiring, Tiffany. I don't know if you remember this, but we met at a conference last year where you had mentioned at the time in 2024, late 2024, we met at a conference and you'd mentioned you only had a few
I remember
stores.
Lula, because I was like, I have no idea what you do. So please educate me.
Yeah, what I was going to say, what I took away from that conversation was you had so much sheer curiosity and just this, like, we are going to get here. I left home inspired that day. And I'm not surprised that you guys have seen the growth that you have. And I think a lot of it is because of your just sheer curiosity and steadfastness. I'm sure it's been a challenging journey. What do you think has been the most difficult part about scaling so far?
The learning curve, or having to understand how, one, the business runs, what all it takes to get a store open, to get the fuel going, because the assets that we now operate, we did not hand select them. So there was some adverse selection there. They weren't particularly run well before we took them over. So having to kind of bring something back from the dead is a huge just challenge in itself, and then do it the right way. And then the change management within the store, the employees, because they had not been, I don't want to say not treated particularly well, but there was no consistency. There was really no one overarching brand. There was no culture. So to get them on board with what we were trying to build, and then to get customers that had long stopped coming to these stations because they were no longer reliable, they weren't open, they weren't selling fuel, to get them back on board once we did get the doors open, to say that we are here to be your partner, we want to be reliable, we want you to come back to us day in and day out. So that was the hardest part initially. And then building out our corporate structure while trying to do all of that, and then just managing the daily grind that goes on with older stores, older equipment, employees, product, vendors. Like there is so much that goes on every day within the stores.
I bet, and you're in this experience. You were given a hand of cards that you didn't choose. So stores,
Mm-hmm.
locations, without having the prior tribal knowledge of why is this store in this specific location. What did the owner builder specifically see there? Um, as you think about continued growth of the brand, I'm curious, how are you've mentioned in the past a lot of the stores had historically not been tech forward. How are you using technology as a lever for growth?
Well, one, it is understanding how does the tech work. Is it solving a problem for us? Was one of the things initially that what was hard to be approached by someone with any platform or solution because we didn't quite understand the basics, the mechanics, the theory behind why we would need to bring tech on to either make something more efficient, make it better, solve a problem that we didn't necessarily know that we had. But now within our stores, I mean, we see it through communication with our employees. We see its need with customers. We want to obviously have some type of way to communicate our promos, our culture, just everything. Any extra touch point that we can get with a customer is very important to us, and we see why now. But yeah, it's just technology when used, I think, correctly, um, it helps you troubleshoot problems before they become problems, especially with equipment. And it just makes things smoother when it is implemented and integrated the correct way and everyone is on board to use it. And all of those things together are usually not the easiest thing to accomplish in the beginning. So it's also knowing what the expectation is for adding technology to either a manual process that we've been doing or bringing in something entirely new that we don't quite have the experience with, and really relying on a partner to help us understand and to be there when we need the extra support.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. We've heard this now at a lot of conferences. Work with your vendor partners, rely on them, tell them what you need. I was actually just on a call right before this sharing with one of our really wonderful partners. Tell us exactly what you need. If you're spending time on doing XYZ, do not
Yeah.
spend time doing XYZ. Tell us what you need. And so I think that retailers sometimes feel this pride of I want to do everything, but it's not scalable. There's only one of you in a lot of stores to work at.
Yeah. And
So
we were very also guilty of in the beginning, again, not understanding really what we needed, how to express what we needed, just feeling overwhelmed. And sometimes we should have said no when we signed up for some things because we either weren't there yet to properly use the technology like it should be used, or we just, again, we tried to scale too fast. Like
Mhm.
we were running before we were crawling. So it's that's a point that we remind ourselves all the time is what what are we trying to accomplish here? And it helps when a vendor also asks questions that we can answer because sometimes I cannot articulate what I am feeling or where I need help. But when you start asking me questions of, does this apply? Does this not apply? Do you do this? I'm able to give you those answers, which then leads me to the water per se to drink it. It's like I need a vendor to tell me sometimes what I don't know, but I'm trying to say.
No, good, very good point. If you were talking to yourself, maybe 2 year anniversary is coming up with the brand, and if you were talking to your past self and sharing, this is the tech roadmap, the ideal tech roadmap you need to build, what would you say to yourself?
Oh, well, I would have Nicole by me now, and she does a lot of our tech related, just any issues with the registers, talking to the the fuel the first thing I ever did, which part of a tech, and I'm sure people out there will cringe when they hear me say this, but I cut the relay wires that talk to the pumps outside to the inside and the POS to basically get fuel, turned on for a customer to be able to use. And I took basically bolt cutters and cut through the thickest wires possible, but they were tangled up like Clark Griswold's Christmas lights, and they were covered in about 4 inches of dust. And I thought, there's no way these are needed for anything. So one, it's learning also that tech is hardware, not just necessarily the things that you don't see, but yeah, know what those wires are before you go and cut them. But it's everything has a place. Understand how it all connects and talks to each other. Who is going to take care of it once it's live, and how do you continue to foster it and make sure that it's a tool that you use every day? Because there's nothing that pisses me off more than paying for something and then not using it. And in this industry, definitely have learned that pennies add up to dollars, and we try to save every penny that we can. So it is making sure that we utilize the tech, and just that roadmap is how do those roads lead to everything else that we're currently doing? Because adding a new tech to anything usually affects something on our back end of the house. And it's how does it do that, and how do we keep it from affecting it in a way that is so negative that it either shuts us down or messes something up, or keeps us from being able to process sales within the store.
It's a good point. Grounding tech to problems and the P&L, especially when you're running on razor thin margins. You can't pay for a product that doesn't have the P&L impact, whether it's even through data or some direct P&L impact. That sort of leads me to my next question around, so you have this knowledge now, and as you think about the problems you guys are facing these days, how is that informing your longer term tech roadmap? What are some things you're adding this year, next year, maybe grounding it to the business problem?
So this year we're adding loyalty, and we are right now reviewing all of that, and we're close to making a decision. I've got a meeting after this, actually, of just going over our decision matrix, comparing apples to apples. What does this one have that this one doesn't? Is it something that we need? And then price always is a consideration. But that's one thing that we are adding this year, that it's like, one, whose lap is that going to fall into? Who takes care of it? What needs to be done to make sure that it is implemented, that it keeps living, and that at the end the customers adopt it, and it becomes something that we see pays for itself. So that's one of the big tech. I don't know if it's a problem, but it's certainly going to level up our current offering to our customers, and just make us more competitive in the market with, the Casey's and the other quick stars, like the bigger guys, because people expect that you're going to have a loyalty program, and I expect it. So why wouldn't our customers expect it?
Mm-hmm. Right. That's a good point. What else is on that roadmap? And maybe not just problems, opportunities based on what you're hearing in the industry. As you think about the future of the brand, are you differentiating through customer experience on the tech side? Or are you differentiating through the human and brand experience? I just love to hear, how are you thinking about that future growth?
Yeah, for us, especially in our rural markets, we want people to come in and feel welcome and hang out, for lack of a better word. We offer seating spaces for them to sit down, eat food. We've got our food program. We partner with PFS and Wingman. So we want them to have a place where they can come. We want kids, local, kids, students, to have a place where they can come, hang out, get on the Wi-Fi. It's like we encourage that, because not only are they customers, but they could also be future employees. So we want to make sure that they know that we are a welcoming place from consumer to employee. So yeah, that's kind of the feel within our stores. And then just to be able to add, again, another touch point, to be able to talk to them when they come in. How are you doing? Recognize them through loyalty, through their purchases. We're adding other technologies like screens within our stores so that we're advertising promos, what's going on, what our current promos are, what any of our vendor partners, suppliers are doing, and then, putting that out at the pumps too. So it's tech touches a little bit of everything, and still just trying to have a down home feel. Like, again, I come from a small town, so I knew what the gas station a mile from my house meant to me. It was a place that we went when we couldn't get to town during the week because town was 20 miles away. And a lot of our stores have that same kind of feel. Like, we want you to come in, know that you can get what you need to get you through the week, or pick up a pizza or pick up chicken, whatever you want to have for dinner that night, and not have to, drive 20 miles to get to that next town to get whatever you were trying to get. So just to have another community hub too is what we're trying to accomplish, while also still knowing that tech is very important. And certainly, it's not going away. So, but it's trying to make it accessible and trying to remove some of the scariness around it. It's like, we're always going to have employees. I don't believe we will ever phase out of not having someone live in our stores to greet employees coming in, to stock shelves, to check somebody out, because not everyone wants to go to a self-checkout or whatever. So yeah, that's really our feel when our stores. It's, offering modern amenities, but still having that Mayberry come in. We want to know your name. We want you to stay around, and then we want you to tell your friends about us.
That's a very unique experience you're looking to provide, which is different from what we hear from other brands that may be in more metropolitan areas. This feels more transactional, but this is sort of the hub where you hang out, where I know this well. My parents used to own retail stores, and they knew everyone's names, and that connection of, hey, Lauren, it's your birthday, happy birthday. It does mean a lot to the customers.
Yeah.
I want to ask Tiffany. I know you've been you've grown this brand over the last 2 years, and you've been an inspiration for a lot of women leaders in convenience. If you had a message to share to other leaders like yourself that are, or folks that are aspiring to be leaders, what would you tell them growing in this industry?
I would tell them, don't be afraid of what you don't know, because coming into this as green could be, don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid, and get over being embarrassed. It's like, you can't learn something if you don't open yourself up, one, for feedback, and two, just to let people know that you don't know something. And please break it down. Please use simple words. Like, I need to understand something on the most basic level. And if I can't explain it to somebody else, then I really don't understand it myself. So that is one thing. I was really surprised coming in that there aren't more women really leading in this industry. And there are amazing women. I have met so many of them, but that it is still a very male dominated industry. I was used to that in real estate, and I don't know, just thinking retail maybe too, that this would have more women in leadership roles. But don't be afraid. Also, if you get invited to something, go to it, whether you think you deserve to be there or not. Like, I don't turn down an opportunity, that's for sure. I want my team to get involved. I want them to be known. And it's really just a lot about, again, not to say don't be afraid. I'm afraid of a lot, but it's going through with it even in that fear. So yeah, just suck it up, do it, and yeah, see where the cards fall, because we've been very lucky with the industry having accepted us, having, you know, recognized that our brand is different. It's a little risque for some, but that's why we tone it down with the gas spot and the good spot. So, we've got family friendly sayings. If you get a little embarrassed saying the G spot, you don't have to. Just, yeah, I don't know. Just be bold, be brave, and do it.
I love that.
And I would say also, don't think that you're ever pigeonholed or it's too late to change an industry, because this is certainly not what I thought the second half of my career or my life would be. And if an opportunity presents itself and it makes you excited and makes you think and gets you up a little earlier in the morning, because you do have so much to do and so much to learn, to seize it, man. Like, you got nothing to lose.
I love that, Tiffany. I'm sure a lot of the audience members are thrilled to hear this, and as they're thinking about their careers. The best for last, I want to hand it off to my colleague Matt to ask some exciting lightning questions that we're curious to get your take on.
This is my favorite segment. Yeah, we've got a couple quick questions for you. Feel free to answer in just a few brief sentences, but would love to get your thoughts on a few of these. Number one, there's a lot of obviously innovative technology out there now in the industry, and I think there's also potentially a lot of hype out there as well. What's one piece of technology you would never install in your stores?
Oh, anytime I say anything, it comes back to bite me, because initially I was like, we're not doing food. And now we have a food program.
Yeah.
Self checkouts. I don't like them personally. We don't have any right now. And if I don't ever have to install one, I'm not going to. So that would be the thing. Yeah, that's the hill I'm going to die on there.
I respect that. I mean, I think that aligns with kind of your brand and what your stores are known for. So I feel like that's a fair opinion to have. I'll jump to the next one. In these 2 years operating InConvenience Inc., what's been kind of your biggest surprise?
Oh God, the best surprise has been the people. Very welcoming industry. We lean a lot on the people that we meet at conferences and our vendors and suppliers. So the people have been the best. I'll say the worst surprise is how nothing talks to each other, and how you have to have some type of add on to get one system to talk to another system. It's like nothing is integrated. And if I can ever figure out how to do this, I'm going to, because I just want one system to run everything from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a problem we're trying to solve for a lot of retailers around the country right now, relative to digital commerce and kind of digital experiences. So we share that pain with you. What, as you think about the next 5 years and kind of your roadmap overall for the company, what are you most excited about?
Oh, so right now we did just hire a director of operations, and I'm most excited right now about the opportunities that are in our current stores that we haven't yet either capitalized on or identified. So bringing in someone with a lot of industry experience and operational experience, and just tightening our overall operation, store performance, having someone also who's going to be able to be that support for training our district managers and store managers, and just having a growth model, and for their professional lives as well. I'm excited for that. Growing our store count is something I'm super excited about, and being able to pick a store versus here's a problem that we need to solve. I'm excited for that. Uh, we're moving into a new state. Oh, that's all I'm going to say on that. Very soon, in the very near future. So we've already got plans to add to our store count there. But just growing our brand, growing our corporate structure, and yeah, just getting people excited about who we are and wanting to come and work for us so that we can continue to grow and to strengthen that. And more community outreach, I'm certainly very excited for, because we're opening these stores up, giving people a place to come, giving people another opportunity for employment. And then that reaches further into vendors, suppliers, local contractors, local banks, just, all around. It's like the system that one C store reaches. It's wild just how ingrained a gas station is within not only its own community, but its further reach in overall economics for the city, the state, sales tax, all of those things.
I love that. There's a lot to look forward to, it sounds like, for
Oh
your
my
company
God,
and
yeah.
for the customers you serve. That's awesome. And speaking of looking forward, one more question for you. If you were to fill in the blank here, what would it be? The future of convenience retail is blank.
Female.
Love that.
It's female, of course.
Awesome.
And
do you want me to elaborate, or are you gonna take?
I don't know if you need
answer?
to.
We'll take it. We'll take it. I mean, especially in an industry. I mean, diversity is so important, right?
Yeah.
Convenience segment's the only segment in the U.S. where a third of the Americans go nearly every day. Isn't that insane? And so I think you have to have diversity of product you sell, diversity of people who run these brands, and everything in between. So I think I love that answer, Tiffany. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And one thing that we do within our stores is in our restrooms, we supply them with free feminine products. So you never have to walk into one of our stores and be, stressed or in need of anything like that. So we do allow that, and we put changing rooms even in the male restrooms too. So, try to be sensitive to everyone's situation there.
That's a big differentiator. You'd be surprised of the top brands in the country that very few are that forward thinking. So kudos to you for building that culture.
Thanks.
Awesome. I think that just about concludes our podcast episode today. So thank you again, Tiffany, for the great conversation. I know a lot of our viewers will appreciate hearing your story and hearing a lot of your learnings over the last few years and over your total career as well. If you're tuning in and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. We're dropping a new episode this season each month. So give us a subscribe, make sure you like and comment on our LinkedIn post. That always helps. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you again.
Thanks, guys.